Hi children, welcome to this bridge course portions related to science subject. So in this session we are going to discuss about some worksheet which are very much needed to know by you people. In 10th standard, in during bridge course we are going to teach about the topics which are very much known by you in order to understand the syllabus which is in 10th standard. Now I am going to discuss with you about some point which are very much you must have the knowledge related to that topic. Here in this first question, in worksheet 1, I have asked about the some instruments that we are using in our everyday life, and also the substances which are very much involved in our daily activities, and the symbols related to science, that means especially in physics. Okay dear children, today in this class one by one we are going to deal barometer. Already you know that barometer, it is an instrument used to know the atmospheric pressure. So we can see different kinds of barometers in the laboratory or in a physical labs. Second instrument is stethoscope. Stethoscope, you know that we are using in medical field, and it helps to understand the internal sounds of an animal's or a human body. That means it helps us to listen the internal sound of an animal or a human body. It has small disc-like structure that is called as a resonator, which is placed against the when we place it against the skin, and two earphones are there. That earphones help us to hear the internal sound of the body. Next one, sphygmomanometer. So but you are not using in a daily life, but it is called as a blood pressure monitor or BP measuring instrument, which help us to know the blood pressure of a person. Okay, so next one is autosphere. So we can see this device in a criminal crime branches or in some other laboratories in order to analyze the audio. That means it is help us to analyze the audio sound volume, sound, different kinds of sounds. That means diagnostic of audiometer. Next is, already you are aware about this one, telescope, an instrument which is in the shape of a cylinder, that means shape of a tube, with some spherical shaped glass pieces on either end of it, which help us to see the far away objects which are present in the celestial sphere, or it may be which are away from us. Okay, based on that we are using binoculars also. Next one, microscope. Microscope is a laboratory instruments which help us to know or study about the characteristics of a microorganisms. That means the organisms which are not possible to see by our naked eyes. So microscope, it is an instrument which help us to know about the microorganisms. Next one, very important, in every daily life we use lot of substances which allows the current and which are not allow the current to pass through them. The substances which allows the current are called as a conductors. The substances which are not allow the current to flow through them
And by
are
the word
called as a
conduct,
non-conductor.
well, in
Listen
physics,
this
it means
video
transfer
and
of
understand
something.
the concept.
And the materials that transfer something through themselves from one place to another are called conductors. That something could be anything. It could be heat, it could be electricity, or many other things. However, here we are interested in electricity. In this context, we will use the word electrical conductors. So now can we define it? You're right. Electrical conductors are the materials that transfer electricity through them. Or even more precisely, They are the materials that allow the electric current to flow through them. For simplicity, we will call them conductors. What are the examples of conductors? We have seen this simple circuit in the previous video. Here, a 1.5 volt cell is connected with a bulb which can be between 3 to 4 volts with the help of copper wires. So here I told you that the movement of electrons is from the negative terminal of the cell to the positive terminal. But however, by convention, the direction of electric current is taken to be from the positive to the negative one. But how exactly is the current flowing in the circuit? Or through which material is this current flowing? Yes, it's the copper wires. Electric current is flowing through the copper wires from the positive to the negative terminal. So what can we conclude from this? We say that the copper is a conductor of electricity since it allows the electricity to flow through it. Now, instead of copper wires, what if we use pieces of threads in the circuit? Will the bulb glow in that case? No, it won't. Why? Because the electric current cannot flow through a piece of thread. Such materials are called insulators. So how do we define this term? Give it a try. These are the materials which do not allow the electric current to flow through them. Let's study a bit about conductors first. Besides copper, what are the other materials that conduct electricity? Almost all metals conduct electricity. Silver, gold, aluminium, iron and mercury are a few other examples of metals that conduct electric current. If you replace copper wires in our circuit with aluminium ones, then you will find that the bulb is still glowing. This proves that aluminium allows electric current to flow through it. In fact, this area of the bulb is itself made up of metal. Hence, if we connect the wire anywhere in this region, the bulb will still glow. It transfers the electricity to the terminal of the bulb and inside. We can actually test any object for conductivity. Break the circuit up from anywhere by cutting the copper wire. Now at this point, I want you to notice one thing. Look at this region. There is nothing present in this region that can transfer the electrical energy from one side to the other. But there is air in this region. So what can you infer from this? This tells us that air is an insulator. It does not conduct electricity. Bring any object that you want to test, say this iron nail. Tie up both the ends of the wires at the two ends of iron and see if the bulb is glowing or not. If it glows, then it proves that the material that our object is made up of conducts electricity. Here the electric current is flowing through the iron nail. So our circuit is complete and the bulb glows. So this proves that iron is a conductor of electricity. Did you know that the human body is also a conductor of electricity? In fact, it's a very good conductor. This is the reason why we get an electric shock if we are not careful. The electric current flows through a body towards the earth. Now, which are the materials that do not conduct electricity? Materials such as plastic, rubber, cotton and wood do not conduct electricity. So they are insulators. For instance, instead of an iron nail, if we connect a plastic straw between the circuit, then the bulb will not glow.
Yeah, I hope you understand the difference that exists between the conductors and the non-conductors. Next, the difference between transparent and opaque substances. See, look at here, transparent. For which substances we called it as a transparent? The substances which allows the light to flow through them or pass through them are called as a transparent substances. The substances which do not allow the light to pass through them are called as a dark. Let us observe this video. With the help of this video, we can understand the difference that exists between the transparent and opaque substances. And also, there is a substance which is called as translucent. Let us see that.
That is why the man and the woman could not see the presence of the glass in between them. So what do you think such objects are called? Objects through which light passes through very easily, and those objects through which we can see clearly are known as transparent objects. So in the previous example, glass was a transparent object. So what are some other examples of transparent objects? The glass that you use at home for drinking water is a transparent object because you can see clearly through it. Also, water is a transparent object. You must have seen that even when you pour water inside the glass, you are still able to see through it. Now, we learned that transparent objects are objects through which light can pass through easily. What are some other type of objects? Let us find out. Now look at this animation. In this animation, you will notice that one part of it, the scenery, you can see very clearly, and the other part of the scenery that is covered by the glass that is moving, you can see it in a very hazy manner. So why do you think it is so? I just mentioned that glass is a transparent object, but here lies the twist. This glass is not a normal kind of glass. This is a frosted glass. So what kind of an object is frosted glass? It is a translucent object. So what are translucent objects? Objects through which light passes only partially and through which we can see not as clearly as we could through transparent objects are known as translucent objects. So frosted glass is a translucent object. In this picture, you will notice that the concept of a translucent object has been explained very clearly. You will notice that the hand of the man is very clearly visible when the translucent object, the frosted glass in this case, is not kept. But behind the frosted glass, his hand is somewhat visible, not clearly visible. Now consider an interesting situation. You and your friends, you're playing hide and seek, and you have two choices, either to hide behind this door or to hide behind this door. Now which door will you hide behind and why? Obviously you will hide behind the second door and not the first door. But why is it so? Because if you hide behind the first door, you will see that your friends will be able to see you right through it. Why? Because as we just learned, glass is a transparent object through which light passes through very easily. But in the second case, the wooden door does not allow light to pass through easily. So if you hide behind the wooden door, your friends will not be able to see you. So what are these objects called through which light cannot pass at all? Those objects through which light cannot pass and through which we cannot see what is on the other side are known as opaque objects. So what are the three kinds of objects we learned about? Opaque, transparent and translucent. So let's take a quick recap of how we can see the other side through these three kinds of objects. You will notice in this picture that you can see a giraffe very clearly through the transparent object. However, through the translucent object, the body of the giraffe is not very visible. It is somewhat visible and you can see only a hazy picture. But through the opaque object, you cannot see anything at all. The image of the giraffe is not visible to you at all. So how can we conclude? Transparent objects are those objects through which light passes through very easily. Translucent objects are objects through which light passes through only partially. And opaque objects are those objects through which light does not pass at all.
Okay. Now you come to understand what is the difference between the translucent opaque and transparent substance. In the same way, let us learn about the magnetic and non-magnetic materials. Okay, substances which are attracted by magnet are called as magnetic substances. The substances which are not attracted by the magnet are called as a non-magnetic substances. So
Procure
in
a
order
small
to know
magnet.
that, let us watch
Collect
this video.
various objects of day to day use from your surroundings, such as an iron nail, a copper wire, an aluminium vessel, a plastic meter, scale, a piece of cloth, a discarded cassette tape, a rubber ball, a small piece of wood, a glass, and a few more common objects. Bring the magnet near these objects one by one and observe which of the objects gets attracted by the magnet. Materials which get attracted towards a magnet are called magnetic materials. Iron, nickel, or cobalt are magnetic materials. Materials which do not get attracted towards a magnet are called non-magnetic materials. Paper, plastic, and wood are non-magnetic materials.
I think you have understood this about this in a better manner with the help of this video, and also you come to the conclusion how you can explain or how you can understand the difference that exists between the magnetic substances and non-magnetic materials. Okay, and also along with the examples we have explained here with the help of this video, and also the statements whatever that you are seeing on the screen. I hope you will understand the difference that exists between conductors, non-conductors, transparent and opaque, and also magnetic and non-magnetic substances in a better manner. Okay, let us move on to the other thing where we are going to learn about some other substances which we are going to see in our daily life activities. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Let us move on to the next topic, which is very important to be known by you people in order to understand the physics in a better manner. And also along with that, in chemistry we are going to deal about the metals and non-metals. There they will going to ask the some characteristics that exist between the metals and non-metals. Metals are generally malleable and ductile. Malleable and ductile means they can be converted into a sheets. We can give the sheet shape or a wire. In the form of wire we can also make that metals, but it is not possible in the case of non-metals. And the second point is almost all the metals are shiny and lustrous, means they are glittering in nature. That means the sparking. Okay, they are having smooth and shiny surface. But in almost all non-metal substances, they are not shiny in nature and non-lustrous, except the iodine element. Next one, metals, they are electropositive in nature, and non-metals, they are electronegative in nature. So these are the things that you must know to understand the chemical reaction. Let us come to the physics part, which are the very important letters that we are using in order to solve so many problems in physics and also to understand the concept. First one, capital F is there, means it represents universal force. Small g represents acceleration due to gravity. M represent mass. Small m, that is a. Small a represent acceleration. Capital G letter represents universal gravitational force or universal gravity. Small f letter represents force. Small d or small s letters represent distance. Capital S letter represents speed, and also V, capital V represent velocity. See, after observing this, it is very important and it is very useful to understand the concept to solve the problem in physics. Lambda, that is the symbol used to represent the measurement of wavelength. That means it is a symbol which represents the wavelength, and also we can say that that is the symbol represent wavelength. Okay, thank you children. At least if you have this much of knowledge, so you can understand the some chapters which are very much related to these topics, and you can understand that chapter in a better manner. Thank you for watching, and keep watching this type of videos in Guru Renuka Sudha AR YouTube